It's Saturday, April 26, 2025. Thanks for joining me today. Little windy out here. Hopefully it's not affecting the audio too bad, but a nice day overall. Some nice clouds coming in. We'll maybe get a little rain later, but the wind is definitely out here. But I want to get into some of the news today. Feel free to comment down below. This first article I was reading this morning from CNBC, Americans are getting flashbacks to 2008 as tariffs stoke recession fears. How many of you right now are thinking, if you remember, if you were around during the 2008 crash or were old enough to go through it, how many of you have been kind of thinking about how much a lot of this resembles the period of 2008, especially in the housing market? People who went through 2008 can definitely see, or at least feel like something is around the corner. If you lived through that period, don't ignore the warning signs. And what we're seeing now as far as warning signs is we're seeing an economy that has drastically been slowing down for years. We're seeing the labor market fall apart, layoffs galore. Don't be blindsided because something is no doubt going on. If you look at home sales absolutely collapsing, again, the layoffs, inflation. I just don't really see inflation coming down at this point. I go to the grocery store a minimal once a week. And I mean, we're paying for gas out here. It's over $4 for regular. I just don't really see a lot of relief right now. And the more this goes on, the more layoffs I see. People are really hurting. People just, right now seem to really be hurting. A lot of people seem to be really ignoring what's going on. They just want to feel good. They just want to hope that nothing bad is going to happen. And for years, people would ask me, when's the collapse going to happen? When's the collapse going to happen? And I would say for years, you're watching it right now. This collapse has been going on for years. Death by 1,000 cuts. Things are continuing to get worse, and they're going to continue to get much worse beyond this. So this is not a collapse that's happening overnight. It's been an ongoing type of a collapse, slow. A very slow collapse. And it just seems like every week, every month we talk about this stuff, there's just more damage. And unfortunately, there's a lot more damage to come. Now, we could see things really begin to accelerate out of control. We got a wake-up call a couple weeks ago as far as the stock market getting hit pretty good, but it's now, seems to be recovering a bit. We'll see how long that lasts. But you don't know when this thing can really, really begin to spiral out of control very, very quickly. Here's another one. More Americans are financing groceries with buy now, pay later loans, and more are paying those bills late, survey says. CNBC. How much do you need to see in regards to a collapse? People are financing their groceries and they're late. And yet there's people out there that don't believe that there's any issues, there's no problems, there's no collapse. I don't remember a time where people were financing their groceries, and now here we are. You cannot ignore these signs, ladies and gentlemen. A Lending Tree survey found 25% of buy now, pay later users are funding groceries. That is up from 14% in 2024. 41% said that they made a late payment on a buy now, pay later loan in the past year. How bad are things right now? I don't think most people know the severity of things, how bad the economy really is. I think that the media, for the most part, is really protecting the information and not really telling the American people how bad it really is. Yeah, they're reporting some things. They're blaming a lot of things on the administration that has been in office for 90 or 100 days. Nobody's talking about the damage over the past 4 years, but I think that things are much, much worse than anybody is telling us. And I think this administration didn't even realize how bad it was. Here's another one from The Hedge today. America's mom and pop truckers in dire straits as bad news mounts. The economic effects on trucking could be absolutely brutal. It is slowing down right now for truckers. Those shipments from China are not coming in like they did. It's slowed way down. And this could absolutely be catastrophic for the trucking industry, especially the small companies, the mom and poppers. They're in a dire situation. They've been in a dire situation for a while. Remember when it wasn't that long ago, a couple years ago, when they were telling everybody, get a commercial driver's license, be a truck driver. We need truck drivers. That happened back in 21 to 2022. And we landed up doubling commercial driver licenses in this country. And now, what are we going to do with all these truck drivers? We don't have enough supply to put on these trucks. We're going to see, I believe, a wave of bankruptcies hit the trucking industry. And let's not forget, we have a lot of immigrants who don't even speak English driving these 80,000-pound big rigs down the road. And again, we had to have all these truck drivers. We had them so bad that we took people, gave them licenses, commercial driver's licenses, that didn't even speak English. And yet they're driving 80,000-pound trucks down your freeway. Hopefully this will not be another industry crippled. Keep your eyes open. If you're in the trucking industry, comment down below. Let us know what you're seeing. What's it like? What's going on? LA to institute mass layoffs of city workers in wake of $1 billion deficit. LA is in big trouble. Chicago's in big trouble. Most cities are running deficits. Most cities in this country, especially big ones, are in big trouble. They're broke. The state here in California has a reliance on federal dollars. Think again, how much of this economy has been propped up over the years on federal money? The federal government giving cities and counties money to survive. Without that money, we're finding out that, here in California, we're told this is the fourth biggest economy in the world, just the state of California. But it cannot support itself. How can you be the fourth biggest economy in the world, such as California, but you cannot support yourself without federal funding? Los Angeles is in $39 billion of debt. The state of California, $420 billion of debt. California is running a $68 billion deficit. Los Angeles cut 2,000 positions last year. They're going to cut another 1,600 this year. We are also the biggest recipient of pandemic funds. California got $600 billion in total relief. Again, this is happening all over the country. These cities, states cannot support themselves without the federal government. Everything is a big propped up illusion, ladies and gentlemen. Think about even the stock market. Without the Fed buying up all the debt, without the Fed coming in and buying stocks, they propped up the housing market by buying mortgage-backed securities. So much of this is artificial. What would it all look like if the funny money wasn't floating around in these markets, in your cities, in these counties, if it wasn't feeding tens of millions of people, if we weren't creating jobs out of thin air, government jobs to give people a job that the taxpayer is paying for? I mean, this is a giant mess. Here's another one today. Hit the wall. Walmart CEO issues stark 2-week warning over prices and empty shelves as customers brace for new fees. Walmart CEO Doug McMillon warned. Are you all stocking up? Are you freaking out right now, running to Costco, Walmart, the grocery store, stocking up? Or are you out buying big screen TVs? Are you buying cars? Are you buying trucks? Are you buying more clothes? How are you actually preparing? I see that I've been reading a lot of people have been buying electronics. They're going and justifying buying a new car because of these tariffs. I think that's a big mistake. I don't think we need more big screen TVs. Most people don't need a new car. Maybe, it's a good idea to stock up on a little bit more food. That's probably a good idea because prices probably will be going up. But I just don't think that most people need more shoes or more TVs or another iPhone or another car. Let me know if you're preparing for this and how you are preparing. Is it a good idea to maybe be adding a little bit more food? It's always a good idea to be adding a little bit more food to the reserves. I think that that's great. I think one of the best ways to prepare, my opinion only, but I think one of the best ways to prepare is pay off debt. If you've got some amount of debt, just get it paid off. I think that's one of the best things you could do right now. But another question I have for all of you too is, can America survive this trade war with China if it begins to become very real, without having cheap products on the shelves of Walmart or at Marshall's or at Kohl's or at any store basically, because it's all coming from China? Can America survive? Can we survive having inconvenience? Oh, you can't get the latest phone; it's too expensive. You can't get the latest electronics. Can the American people survive? We've had many years of inflation. We're kind of getting used to it, but at some point, people are taking on side hustles. There's only so many side hustles you can work. There's so many, Uber gigs and Lyft gigs and, delivery jobs. There's only a Grubhub, all this. I mean, there's only so many of these, these side hustles people can do before. There's just not enough hours in the day, and it's so competitive. And by the time you pay these companies their share, you pay your taxes, what are you really walking away with? People, I think they're just, running out of room. There's just not, again, enough time in the day. There's not enough jobs. I mean, how much more can people do? They just tell you work harder, get more side hustles, and that's great. But you can only work so many hours in a day. You can only work so many side hustles. And are we just going to have a country of people just working side hustles? Driving Uber and Lyft and Grubhub, is working at Starbucks and McDonald's. Is this it for the American people? Is this the American dream? As the products on the shelves begin to get more expensive, is this China's plan to put the squeeze on the American people? I don't know. But what I do know is it isn't looking too good, and it is getting very difficult for people to make ends meet. I was talking to somebody today, and they, just said, I just don't know how people are doing it. I don't know how people are doing it. All quiet on the Western ports. Is this the calm before the trade war storm? Ironic, we have a storm actually coming in right now. Maybe this is the storm. Los Angeles port will be the first to be hit. Could be impacted as early as next week. Each week, things are going to intensify as the volumes coming from China and other countries plunge. When we talk TEU, those are those 20-foot containers that are coming over on those ships that they put on the trucks. Between April 20th and the 26th, we had 119.7 thousand of those containers come into the ports in LA. From April 27th to May 3rd, it went down to 85.3 thousand. May 4th to May 10th, 77,000 containers. April 20 to 26, 119. May 4th to May 10th, 77. We're down 30% from the previous year. So it is beginning. And so possibly next week, we could begin to see some minor shortages on the West Coast. By the second week of May, if this thing continues, we're going to see some shortages. What does that mean? It means it's going to be harder to get stuff, and it's probably going to get obviously more expensive. Another article today. Zelensky showed up to the Pope's funeral at the Vatican, and apparently he still hasn't purchased a suit. Is this a big deal? Probably not, but you think this guy is always begging for money. Doesn't seem to want a deal. You think at least he could put a suit on. Maybe it would help him out. But it's interesting to see this guy at the funeral. And he's literally, thousands of people are at the Pope's funeral, and this guy doesn't even have a suit on. Here's another one from The Hedge today. Trump unleashes more anger, frustration at Zelensky for not signing rare earth deal. Why won't this guy wear a suit. Why won't this guy sign the deal? Is he trying to work some type of deal out with the EU behind our back? I don't know. But I don't trust this guy. This individual, Zelensky, to me, does not want peace. And I think that we better really be paying attention here with what we're doing with Ukraine. Here's another one from the hedges. Walking away from Ukraine, the best option for Trump and the United States. What are your thoughts? Is this the best option to walk away from Ukraine at this point? Personally speaking, I think it is. That's my opinion. And you could totally disagree, and that's fine. I could be wrong. But if you ask me right now, would it be a good idea to just walk away? Yes, for a number of reasons. Number one, we spent nearly $200 billion recently with this war. We've given money way before that, but just with this war, about $200 billion. The loss of life on both sides, we continue to fund this war. More people lose their lives on both sides of the war. If this war was already over, there'd be a lot less lives lost. And you could take whatever side you want. I oppose this war 100%. It should have never, ever started. And we certainly should have never funded it and supported it, because a lot of people lost their lives on both sides of this deal. And look, Ukraine, no, the fact is they are one, if not the most corrupt country on planet Earth. So I think we should not be there doing business. We should not be. Look, we have drained our munitions, our drones, you name it, by giving this to them, putting us in a very, very vulnerable position. And we are risking our national security by supporting this. We are nearly $37 trillion in debt, and we are funding another war. This is a big, big mistake. Walking away from Ukraine for a time might help them realize that the European globalists may not have their best interest at heart. We know that they cannot defend themselves without us. I say walk away. We have much bigger problems here in the United States. Again, we are bankrupt. We should not be financing a war that we cannot afford to finance. There's way too many people who have lost their lives, and we have a country that is falling apart. We have a very divided country. We are supporting tens of millions of people who came over here. We have too many people on food stamps. We don't have enough jobs. We have big problems. Why are we not paying down our debts? We are continuing to spend money on wars. It makes absolutely no sense to me whatsoever. The infrastructure in America is absolutely falling apart. The American people are hurting. You know, if you want to give money to somebody, give it to business owners, give it to small business, give it to, to the people in the United States that need some help right now. Cut their taxes. Where are the tax cuts? We need tax cuts ASAP. We need to see fuel prices coming down. We need to see factories built. Instead of giving $200 billion to Ukraine, imagine the industry we could have built with $200 billion in the last, few years here in America. What would $200 billion buy in America? I think that would build a couple factories, wouldn't it? I think it would help some small businesses here in America. So my opinion, love to know yours, comment down below. My opinion is get out of here. I don't trust this guy. Again, the cars they're buying, the yachts in Monaco, the mansions, the corruption, the pensions that we're paying for over there. I'm completely out of this deal if it's up to me. Comment down below on anything you want to comment on. It is definitely getting windy out here and the clouds are rolling in, so I'm going to call it a day. Please like, share, and subscribe. And let me know your thoughts on any of this. God bless. Take care.